Now, some friendly banter talk to have with Athletic Director Dan Swalga. Dan, thank you for coming in today.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and you know how much I love the banter.
I know you do love the banter. So let's start the banter. Let's start with the fall sports. You know, some great and some bad. Let's start off with the great, the volleyball team. A new school record for wins and an outstanding showing in the AMC tournament. You got to be pleased with the women's volleyball team.
Well, there's no question. First of all, I'm pleased with all of our fall sports. The volleyball team had a record-setting year. I was able to go to the culmination of the season at the AMC tournament, and I have to say that I was extremely proud of the way our young ladies and our coaching staff handled themselves. Their effort was outstanding. They almost made it to the national tournament. Played 3 matches in 2 days of the highest quality, intensity. Really represented this university quite well. And plus, as a group, they're just fine young ladies. They're great students. They really epitomize what it means to be a student athlete.
Now, they're going to have some stuff going on here in the winter. Can you tell me anything about what's going to be on the event schedule for the volleyball team here getting ready for next season?
Well, they've pretty much shut it down this semester, and then next semester, as does the soccer teams and cross country, there's a non-traditional season that occurs. There's kind of informal contests. They enter into a few open tournaments, which they're allowed to do according to the NAIA. So they'll have in the second semester probably a 6 to 8 week session where it's more working on fundamentals and getting ready for some tournaments, but it's really an opportunity for them to work on their games.
Let's talk about the soccer teams now, coached by Coach Wallstra. Record-wise, probably not something that anyone really wanted to see, but you could definitely see some progress being made from game 1 to the conclusion of the season.
You know, nobody's happy with the results and the record. However, again, did they represent us well? Yes. Did they work hard throughout? Yes. And I really don't like making excuses, but both of those teams had a large number of injuries. They were crucial injuries throughout the year. There was, one time or a couple times when I think our women's team only had 12 or 13 players available. And so, that's not an excuse. Coach, the only thing I requested is he work on his depth, and so he's working hard to increase the depth. But we had 4 seniors on the women's side. They had really good seasons, and we lost so many games by 1 goal in overtime.
Right.
And in many cases that's just because we're outmanned. We don't have we didn't have the depth in order to keep substituting people as the games wore on. So
let's talk about 2 teams that really don't get much publicity at all in the school a little bit. Coach Irving with the cross-country teams and Coach Boubon with the brand new reinstated men's and women's golf teams. Let's talk about Coach Irving first. And, something that doesn't get a lot of publicity, but something that still really matters to a lot of people in the school.
Well, sure. Cross-country, again, I had the privilege of riding the bus with them to the AMC final, and I have to say that the competition out there is unbelievable. There are certain teams in our conference that are national. They're just national. In fact, Malone's men's and women's team compete against every other team in Ohio and ended up winning that. And that includes Ohio State. That includes all the Division I's. They just have a tremendous program. But, our kids availed themselves well. We had a number of our runners that came up with personal bests at that meet and improved throughout the year. We kind of hit a rut in cross country when the G20 was here, because we really lost a whole week's worth of training. And as Jim said at the awards ceremony, that we ended up catching back up toward the end of the season. So, and again, great group of kids, great student athletes.
Let's jump into golf real quick, too, while I still have you here. First semester it was reinstated. It's going to come back for the spring, but really the real season for the golf team. What did you see in the fall that you liked? I mean, Coach Boubon brought in some pretty darn good players at the top of that list with a few guys that he got in right at the last second, too, because this was really founded very late in the year.
Right. The best thing I saw in the golf was the fact that we were able to compete. because literally this decision was made on June 20th or 28th, and he had no time to recruit. He ended up getting one really solid freshman in on the men's side, and the women's side had enough to, we competed and we played, and they all broke records. So.
Good. Well, we are happy for the golf team, and Dan, thank you very, very much for coming in and joining me today.
Well, thank you, Josh, and I appreciate